Hey yo, even though I only got a GED, I'm a sociologist. Hey yo, Corey Red, last of a raw breed. The Lord designs those who worship him willingly. He never force feed. I swing swords like guillotines. Better yet, my words are like two sticks in the hands of a Philippine. And I don't even care if you feeling me. I'm secure in my identity. Dwell with God Almighty throughout infinity. I was a thief like Ali Baba. Walk the streets with the mind of Christ deeper than a Shaolin monk or Tibetan Lama. Flow from the heart, war with the dog. Churches label me heretic, wanna burn me alive like Joan of Arc. I'm at war with religion that causes division. Through the blood of Christ, all are forgiven. Without it, all are in prison. Fishing for souls, my flows are like invisible gases inside of coal mines, which eventually blows. I'm from the Bronx, nice with my hands, but I'd rather walk away from a fight and suffer with Christ in the land.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. What you said on paper. Be true to what you said on paper.
People tell me you're red, you hot. When you gon' blow in the industry, you too prideful. Sell your soul to the industry. Sign with a pig to let them financially rape you. Throw away your dignity, it's all about the paper.
How you guys doing today? Jason A. Kuhn here, giving you a Fight the Deception with Christian Perception news brief for June 9th, 2014. All articles discussed today will be linked into the YouTube description box. We got a lot of news today with a little time. We'll jump into it here at dailymail.com. Obama declares urgent humanitarian situation after 12 times the number of illegal immigrant children pour over the border, and the GOP blame him. President Barack Obama is calling tens of thousands of illegal immigrant children languishing in temporary U.S. holding pens as, quote, urgent humanitarian situation, unquote, but Republicans are pointing the finger of blame squarely at the White House. Obama instituted an immigration policy that the GOP says enticed tens of thousands of Central American children to cross America's southern border illegally without parents to guide them. More than 33,000 have been picked up in Texas alone since October. The U.S. Border Patrol says its forces are overwhelmed, and the courts are bracing for a flood of immigration cases from children held in temporary detention facilities designed to handle a fraction of the numbers. Sanitation problems are beginning to rear their ugly heads. Obama rolled out a controversial Deferred Action for Children Arrivals DACA program in 2012, allowing many illegal immigrants who came to the U.S. as minors to escape deportation for 2 years. The White House gave them another 2-year window just last week. As a result, say some GOP leaders, America's system for handling illegal immigration has been strained to the breaking point and is attracting hundreds of new illegal immigrant children every day. Wow. Let's move on here to WND.com. Now thought crime is terror in U.S. The Justice Department is resurrecting a program designed to thwart domestic threats to the United States. And Attorney General Eric Holder says those threats include individuals the government deems anti-government or racially prejudiced. The Domestic Terrorism Executive Committee was created in the wake of 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, but was scrapped soon after the 2001 terrorist attacks as intelligence and law enforcement officials shifted their focus to threats from outside the country. The committee will be comprised of figures from the FBI, the National Security Division of the Justice Department, and the Attorney General's Advisory Committee. In his statement announcing the return of the committee, Holder said he remains concerned about the specter of attacks prompted by Islamic extremists, but he said this committee will be tasked with identifying other threats. Quote, we must also concern ourselves with the continued danger we face from individuals within our own borders who may be motivated by a variety of other causes from anti-government animus to racial prejudice, unquote, Holder said. Now, I think a lot of people are anti-Obama's government currently. According to reporting from Reuters, and the American Civil Liberties Union is pushing back against the DOJ plan, fearing, quote, it could be a sweeping mandate to monitor and collect controversial speech. That, quote, controversial speech would be disagreeing with the Obama policies. Let's move on here to NewYorkTimes.com. War gears flows to police departments. Inside the municipal garage of this small lakefront city parked next to the hefty orange snowplow sits an even larger truck. This one painted in desert khaki, weighing 30 tons and built to withstand landmines. The armored combat vehicle is one of hundreds showing up across the country in police departments, big and small. The 9-foot-tall armored truck was intended for an overseas battlefield, but as President Barack Obama ushers in the end of what he calls America's, quote, long season of war, unquote, the former tools of combat, M16 rifles, grenade launchers, silencers, and more are ending up in local police departments, often with little public notice. During the Obama administration, according to Pentagon data, police departments have received tens of thousands of machine guns, nearly 200,000 ammunition magazines, thousands of pieces of camouflage and night vision equipment, and hundreds of silencers, armored cars, and aircraft. So they're getting armored cars and aircraft now. Let's move on here to AndroidPolice.com. Exclusive: Google will soon introduce Nearby to let other people, places, and things know when and where you're around. What is Nearby? Before we get started, here's the copy from the Nearby onboarding screen, which gives a nice overview of what we'll be discussing. Nearby lets you connect, share, and do more with people, places, and things near you. When Nearby is turned on for your account, Google can periodically turn on the mic, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and similar features on all of your current and future devices. Google Plus and other Google services need this access to help you connect, share, and more. When you turn on Nearby, you're also turning on location history for your account and location reporting for the device. Google needs these services to periodically store your location data for use by Nearby, other Google services, and more. And of course, there will be backdoors built into this for government use to track you when they need be. Let's move on here to BusinessInsider.com. A computer has reportedly passed the Turing test for the first time. A computer program named Eugene Goostman has convinced a third of human judges into thinking it is a 13-year-old boy, becoming the first machine to pass the Turing test, Hannah Furness of The Telegraph reports. Computer science pioneer and World War II codebreaker Alan Turing created the test in 1950 in a paper which opens with the words, quote, "I propose to consider the question, can machines think?" unquote. He argued that if a machine dupes 30% of the human participants during a series of chats, then it is exhibiting intelligent behavior that is indistinguishable from that of a human. Past that threshold, according to Turing, the idea of a thinking machine would no longer be contradictory. Wow. Let's move on now here to NewYork.cbs.local or NewYork.cbslocal.com. Group launches campaign warning expecting mothers about wireless radiation. Could your cell phone cause harm to your unborn baby? A CBS 2's Dr. Max Gomez reported that is the concern being raised by one environmental group which launched a nationwide awareness campaign on Wednesday. The founder of the Environmental Health Trust, Dr. Deborah Davis, wants expecting mothers to know about the danger that they may not know emanates from their cell phone. Quote, "Right now we are treating our children like experiments and a subject with no controls," unquote, Dr. Davis said. Some animal studies have linked cell phone wireless radiation to neurological and behavioral problems in baby rats and mice. It's not enough evidence to prove cause and effect in humans, and that kind of study can't be done, Gomez reported. Quote, "It would be unethical if we were to say, let's take one group of pregnant women and expose them to cell phone radiation and the other group not," unquote, Dr. Davis said. Davis said the danger goes beyond your phone to signals given by tablets, Wi-Fi routers, cordless phones, and even your wireless smart utility meters. Let's move here to news.yahoo.com for the last article of the day. Pope says Israelis, Palestinians must seek peace, undotted in dialogue. Pope Francis told Israeli and Palestinian leaders they, quote, must respond, unquote, to their people's yearning for peace, quote, undaunted in dialogue, unquote, during an unprecedented prayer meeting among Jews, Christians, and Muslims at the Vatican on Sunday. The Pope made his vibrant appeal to Israeli President Shimon Peres and his Palestinian counterpart Mahmoud Abbas at the end of a 2-hour evening service in the Vatican Gardens, an encounter he hopes will relaunch the Middle East peace process. Quote, "Peacemaking calls for courage, much more so than warfare. It calls for courage to say yes to encounter and no to conflict, yes to dialogue and no to violence, yes to negotiations and no to hostilities," unquote, he said. This is coming from the Roman Catholic Church, who didn't have no dialogue with true faith-believing Christians when they sacrificed and murdered millions of true-believing Christians in the Dark Ages. The Pope spoke after Jewish rabbis, Christian cardinals, and Muslim imams read and chanted from the Old Testament, the New Testament, and the Quran in Italian, English, Hebrew, and Arabic in the first such interreligious event in the Vatican. Can you say New World Order and One World Religion? That's all the articles I got for you guys today. We'll move on to the New World Order quote of the day. Quote, "The real truth of the matter is, as you and I know, that a financial element in the larger centers has owned the government ever since the days of Andrew Jackson," unquote. That's a letter written by Franklin Delano Roosevelt to Colonel House, November 21st, 1933. And of course, I don't want to leave you without the proverb of the day, Proverbs 4:7, King James only. "Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom. And with all thy getting, get understanding." Again, that's all the news, quotes, and articles I got for you guys today. I'll leave you off with a song I brought you in on by Corey Red called Sociology.
Mags and TV, all over the net, radio pushing your CD. You'll be famous, millions of fans that hear you. Who cares if you portray the man in the mirror? Cause the man in the mirror is broke, that ain't cool. So go do what them industry folks say do. If I say go kill your brother, they say cool. If I say don't kill your brother, they say boo. Now what do I do in this catch-22? Please God, preach hard and make moves. Some label me fool, cause I'm dwelling in exile. Stay tuned, next album you get the next style.
And I'm always happy to see a relevant ministry. A relevant ministry. I'm always happy to see a relevant ministry.
Hey yo, my brother Dr. King had a dream. Everybody was like, yeah, but not me, it was different. Amen. I seen helicopters in the air, missiles flying, civilian casualties, little kids dying, Hollywood sign burning on the mountain, political assassinations, blood gushing like a fountain. God, people doubting, some denying the faith, most went the wide path, few surviving the race. I saw America's regime fall, everybody hungry. We had the same status of a third world country as the European Union arise. The beast was revealed, no longer in disguise. Rappers were labeled terrorists, wanted dead or alive. But now, Corey Red has already died. When the prophet was alive, you didn't hear when I cried. Now in your basement you hide as you listen with tears in your eyes.